You know, even in life, when something really monotonous is happening, and then all of a sudden something changes it, something changes the pattern. You expect something to happen, but just its absence makes a change, makes a difference. So, let me show you what I mean in terms of music. So, if I were to have a rhythm, let's say K D D D B D B. So K D B D B D B. Okay. So let's say I were to play something like this. K D B D B D B K D B D B D B. All right. If I have to have a rhythm like that, and so based on what we've done so far, we take these long and short events, group them so far into groups of four, and then we string these words, these phrases of four together to create a pattern. So now we just have a two-word pattern, which is KDB DBTB. So KDB DBTB, KDB DBTB, K. Okay, so let me show you. Hopefully you can hear me now, right? Okay, yes, that was on me. Hadn't added a mic to the screen. Um, Let me know if you still can't hear me. I think it should be fine right now. So, I will redo this. Alright, so going back to the visuals. Cool, great. Going back to the visuals, and hopefully you can hear me now. So, if I have a pattern, alright, so now if I take this pattern of K, DB, 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 I take the long events and short events, group them into words of 4 in this case, and so I have a KDB and a DBDB. So if I join them together, I am looking at these two words forming a sentence in which the group tempo, so the very first of each of these words is where our tempo click comes in, right? So I have K, DB, 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 K, DB, 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 K, DB, 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 K, DB, DB, DB. Alright? So that is what we've been doing so far. But what if we wanted that very first click? What if we didn't want something there? Or, to put it in another way, what if an event in some group spilled over into the next group? So, what do I mean? So, instead of K, DB, 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 K, DB, 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 K, DB, DB, DB. Instead of this, what I do is I say K, K, D, K. What if I were to do that? What if I were to, instead of KDD or KDB, I were to do KDK? So that long event at the very end would spill over into the next group. So I'd have something like KDK, DB, KDK, BDB, KDK, BDB, KDK. So, what do we do about a case such as that? And let me show you what I mean. Yes, so if I have this, so this is our new phrase. So instead of a KDB, KBDB or KDB, we say a KDK, right? So it becomes a So even in this case, although now we're spilling into another group, there are a couple of ways to change our perspective to think about this. But one easy way, using everything we've done so far, is to still think in terms of these groups, still think in terms of these words. But when you think of the words, just think of the first one as silent. So as you can see on the screen, I have a KDB, and that's one group, and I have another group, but the very first one in that group is a blank, right? So that could be a DBDB, so it could be just a straight phrase like that. And if I just skip the first one, so it will become this. Right? So you see on that very first click, there's nothing happening. And now if you combine these two phrases, this is what happens. Because now we're grouping across our usual tempo, we are getting this effect of something that we're expecting not happening. Okay, so that creates a pretty cool effect. So I'll play the two versions, one with this earlier phrasing, this one, KDD and then I'll play the new one, which is just KDK BDB. Okay, and you can hear the difference for yourself. And I'll click with my tongue to show the metronome clicks. Okay. So, all right. Okay, so this is the first one. So that's one, and the other one is okay. So now if you were to just listen to one phrase versus the other with the same notes, you will notice that in one place there's this sort of upbeat feeling. So that upbeat feeling, when I say that, I mean you expect something, but something different happens. So that's one. And if I were to just play a straight rhythm where I put a note on the expected beats, this is what I'd get. And if I change, and going back, and if I were to take this upbeat feeling to its sort of extreme, so we get something like this. Okay, so this is basically what overlapping across groups would feel like, and it's a pretty cool effect you can use whenever you want to create the sense of a groove. Just having straight rhythms might make things monotonous over time, but if you were to introduce some variation with the unexpected, just not playing something on one of the tempo beats, that's it, that's all you need. And yeah, you can make pretty cool patterns with this. So that's it for this time.